Joining us on set, she was here just last week, I believe, or was it the week before? Ms. Marian Carrillo. She's a blood bank specialist, and she's also a member of the Society of Inherited and Severe Blood Disorders. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So this particular organization, the Society of Inherited and Severe Blood Disorders, what exactly is it all about?
Well, it's a parent-patient support group. It's been around for a little over 30 years, and they represent every individual with severe or inherited blood disorders. However, there's a lot of emphasis on the three common inherited blood disorders we have in our country, which is sickle cell disease, thalassemia, and hemophilia.
The work that you all currently do, how important is it?
It's very important because although these inherited disorders, blood disorders, are common, not many people know about them. And because it's inherited, it's important that the general public are aware of their status. For example, if you have a sickle cell trait and your partner also has a trait, there's a percentage that your children will come out with sickle cell disease. It's the same for hemophilia and thalassemia. So what the society does is we bring awareness about the disorders and also about getting tested, knowing your status, and also management of these disorders, because management is really important for longevity of these individuals with the blood disorders, inherited blood disorders.
The inherited blood disorders, how soon can they be detected?
They can be detected from birth. So in Tobago, they have newborn screening, whereby they're able to take a drop of the newborn's blood and they test it to determine whether or not that child has an abnormal hemoglobin, which may be due to sickle cell or thalassemia. With hemophilia, the wait is a little bit longer, and it's a different process to determine whether or not the child has hemophilia.
With medication and treatment, how much of a normal life can a patient have? Does it depend? Does it depend on the severity of the situation?
It depends on the severity, yes, definitely, but it also depends on the availability of care. Yes, we have healthcare here in Trinidad, but it's often very difficult to get. For example, a lot of the members, particularly the people with thalassemia, have problems getting blood sometimes, although they may have a chit. So they would have people donate for them, and they would get the chit. Still, with the chit in hand, they still have to wait a few days, sometimes weeks, before they get a unit to transfuse, which is very important for the person with thalassemia.
Are these blood disorders fatal?
If you don't get the correct care. So again, it depends on the severity and it depends on management. All right, so if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not aware that you have this disease, you're not aware how to go about managing it, it becomes problematic and your lifespan will definitely decrease.
So that takes us to the other aspect of it. How important is donating blood?
Well, blood donation is something that concerns all of us. We think it's just the people who needs it at the point in time. However, a blood transfusion is something that covers all ages, all status, because you could end up in a car accident and need a transfusion. You could be the victim of a violent crime whereby you need a blood transfusion. And sickness doesn't knock on the door. You know, it can happen at any time. So it's very important that those who can donate register to become a voluntary blood donor. However, even those who are not able to donate, they can help by spreading the word, educating themselves about the eligibility criteria, because there are many myths about blood donation in our country.
Let's get into some of those myths.
Well, one of the questions I'm asked often has to do with tattoos. So there is this myth that if you have a tattoo, you're not able to donate blood. That is not true. It depends on the age of the tattoo. All right. So if your tattoo is at least 12 months old, then it's fine for you to donate. If your tattoo is less than 12 months old, then it becomes a problem. And this is because the tattoo shops are not regulated in our country. So we can't confirm whether or not they're reusing needles, whether or not the ink they're using is sterile. So to be sure, there's a 12-month break. So if you just had a tattoo, wait the 12 months before coming to donate. Another myth is if I have diabetes or hypertension, I can't donate. Again, if your diabetes and hypertension is properly managed, then it's okay for you to donate blood. Properly managed means that you're under the care of a physician, you're compliant with the physician's orders, so that you're able to donate. I know diabetics and people who have hypertension who donate regularly. So it is not an issue if you have either of those disease conditions and it is well managed. So that's the important thing. Don't try to donate if you're diabetic and you're not following the diet or you're not on medication. All right? Don't try to donate if you have hypertension and you're not on medication. We will not accept you.
What about men who are concerned about their reproductive health and the impact that this can have on them?
The blood donation actually is not a negative influence on reproductive health. Donating blood is something that can be considered as a part of a healthy lifestyle. In that, I don't want to give people the impression that you have bad blood or anything, but we have this how do you say, tradition in Trinidad and Tobago where people like to clean the blood, so to say. Our blood is generally clean. We were made so that our body cleanses itself. However, when you donate blood, it boosts the bone marrow into accelerating and making new blood cells. So actually, when you donate blood, the bone marrow goes into an accelerated production rate of red blood cells. So it's actually very good to donate blood, and a lot of the voluntary blood donors say that they enjoy a healthy lifestyle. One person I was talking to said he feels better after donating blood.
Mm-hmm. What about people who may think that they are underweight or their body mass index isn't where it should be?
Well, that's something we do at the time you come to donate. However, we tell you up front what the eligibility criteria are. So weight is one of them. You have to be at least 110 pounds. And that's because of the amount of blood that we're taking. So there's a limit to how much blood we can take based on your size. So if you're under 110 pounds and you really want to donate, you either boost up or, you still get involved in the movement of encouraging others. It doesn't mean that I can't donate and that's it. I have had 14-year-old students getting involved in blood donation drives. And they're way under the age limit for donating. But it's something that affects everybody. And I think it's a good idea for everybody to educate themselves about blood donation.
How often can an individual give blood?
It depends on the gender. So with females, because of the menstruation cycle, they can give blood every 4 months. With males, they can give blood every 3 months.
Okay.
All right. The process of blood donation. So when you come to donate, so let me start from the top.
Sure.
If you're interested in donating blood, the first thing you need to find out is your eligibility criteria. So there's an age range. In Trinidad and Tobago is 18 to 65. However, 17-year-olds can donate if they have written parental consent. you must be at least 110 pounds. Another thing is as I was saying about the hypertension and diabetes, because we have a lot of people with those non-communicable diseases, those must be managed. All right, so those are the general criteria. The other thing we would ask is about travel. So there's some places you would travel to that we would have to defer you from donating blood. So these are things you find out first, and once you're okay, you pass those things, then you would come to the bank. When you come to the bank, what we'll do is we do a mini health check. So we do your temperature. We want to make sure you're feeling well, so we'll ask you that. Take your temperature. We would also take your weight, and they do a hemoglobin test. Sometimes it's a drop of blood in a blue solution to determine if you have enough iron, although the test is not for iron, it's more so for hemoglobin. But to determine if you meet the minimum amount, then we're able to donate blood. Another myth, as I'm on that, is that people go away thinking they're anemic. If they're using the blue solution to determine your hemoglobin, that is a qualitative test. All right, so it doesn't give you a number of what your hemoglobin is. So to donate blood as a female, your hemoglobin has to be 12.5 grams per DL. However, the normal range for a female is from 12 to about 15 grams per DL. So you might be going to donate blood and your hemoglobin is 12, so you're not able to donate, but it doesn't mean that you're anemic because you're still in the range. All right? So find out whether or not you pass the criteria. Then when you get there, we'll do the mini check and everything else.
Now, would you say that there is a current shortage of blood?
Yes. There has always been a current shortage. However, it seems to be getting worse as less people are becoming voluntary blood donors.
Why?
I think because of the customer service they met with. I think also because of the lack of awareness. Not much is being done to educate the public about how you go about donating blood. Also, when I speak about the customer service, many tell me that they go to the blood donation centers and they're turned away before 8 in the morning. Some who get in, they have problems with being there all day, and then they're deferred after spending the whole day there. The other thing is that our donation centers are only open during working hours. So which means you have to take time off work to get to these donation centers. So it's not very conducive to people who are really interested in donating blood. So this is why I'm encouraging people to have blood drives. The blood drive is an event whereby you'll get friends of the blood bank involved. So first, as the coordinator or the host of the blood drive, you would begin to gather a group of people, interested people who want to donate blood voluntarily, educate them about what they're signing up for, and then, you call friends of the blood bank, you arrange to have a meeting place, and also a date and time, and they will come, they will bring everything that's necessary in order to get the blood donation. And when they collect the blood, this goes into the national blood supply. So it's not being hoarded away for this group or that group. It goes to Port of Spain, where everybody gets blood from the National Blood Transfusion Service.
What about getting a chit? So like, for instance, if I'm a regular donor, am I given some sort of chit or something in the event that something happens to me and I am in need of blood urgently?
Well, the chit system works this way. If we have two types of donors in our country, we have the replacement donors. Those would be people who donate because somebody is in immediate need of blood, and they would get a chit. Right? And then they classify the other type of donors as voluntary. Those are the two main types. The voluntary donors would be those who donate just because they want to donate. As a voluntary donor, you get a blood donor card, and in that card, they write how many donations you made. So if you've been donating twice in the last 2 years, then you have 4. So you have a credit of 4 in your donor card. In the event that somebody needs blood in the future, you could then use your card, the credits in your card, to retain a chit for whoever needs it.
Okay, so I don't have to use it just for myself. If I have a relative that I know is in desperate need of blood, I can use the credit from my blood donor card to access that.
Yes. However, there's
a catch.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that although we say blood bank, the principle is not the same, because blood, unlike money, has an expiration date. All right, so the blood we donate in Trinidad and Tobago is only good for 35 days. All right, so let's say you've donated twice for the 2 years, in 2014 and 2015. The blood you donated is no longer there. However, you still have your credits.
Yes.
So you're going to the bank to get a chit for someone for blood that doesn't really exist.
So that's when you have, so you would use somebody else's blood, right?
You would use somebody else's blood. That's the other thing. People think when they donate blood,
it immediately exact.
No,
it's not.
No, because there's a production process whereby the blood has to be tested. So that takes a few days. So if you're in an immediate need of blood, although somebody goes today and donates for you, you're getting the blood that's already in the refrigerator that is of your type, because we all have different blood types. So again, that's another reason why we have a blood shortage. We have less voluntary donors. A lot of people think with the chits, especially as a voluntary donor, you have blood there waiting, but it doesn't work that way.
So what do you all do with the expired blood? You just discard of it?
The expired blood has to be discarded.
Yeah. Do we have a lot of that taking place?
I don't.
Because I know there's a shortage, so I don't really see much being expired or thrown away.
I don't believe we have a lot of that taking place because there is such a great need for it. So what happens if we have blood? We transfuse.
Yes.
So there are many issues that influence our blood shortage, but becoming a voluntary blood donor is something the public has in their hands. We don't have to wait for Ministry of Health or the government to control that. We can go out there and do that. We could get in contact with the Friends of the Blood Bank, organize a blood drive. It's very, very important that you know what you're getting into before doing that. So I offer services to talk to people, to educate. Whoever wants to do a blood drive, they can let me know, and I will help with that.
All right. And I understand that you have some flyers that you would like to show us, to display this morning.
Yes. My company, Trinity Blood Solutions, in collaboration with the Society for Inherited and Severe Blood Disorders, will be having a blood drive on June 30th. This is Saturday. So,
all right, so these are the posters. There we go. All right, great. So sign up.
Yes, it's important to make an appointment, please. Otherwise, you'll come there and you'll be waiting in line and you'll end up in the same thing that we try to avoid. So make an appointment, come.
How do we make an appointment?
You can call 779-6621. All right, or you can contact me on the Facebook page, which has a lot of information about any and everything concerning blood donation. You can ask me, I will answer. It's you can look up Blood for All in TT on Facebook. All right.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. What are your closing comments?
My closing comments is that sign up to become a voluntary blood donor. All right, it's important. You might be the person needing the blood. Okay?
Yeah, that's a very strong statement. That's actually quite true. Realistically speaking, anything can happen. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone. Well, Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Ms. Marian Carrillo, blood bank specialist. She's also a member of the Society of Inherited and Severe Blood Disorders, talking about the importance of signing up and becoming a blood donor. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us. News is up next. I'm Vuna Bharat. Have a great day.